Okay, hopefully it's working now. Hello? Hello, Minzy, can you hear me? Because there was a sound issue just before. Okay, so sound seems to be working now. I hope so people are going to find their way because yeah, at first. Uh, uh yeah, it'll be great. It's been a fantastic time. Some great news, some things I want to talk about, and so I'm very much looking forward to this live stream. Welcome everybody. I think this is going to be a little bit difficult because, oh man, that's a shame. Because I've been posting this link and I've prepared everything, but there seems to have been a sound issue. Yeah, the train screenshot is fantastic. I was blown away. I was blown away too because usually I see these things the same time as you do, and I think it looked just fantastic. Ben is really doing an incredible job. I mean, I just wrote him a message just a few minutes ago, no, a few hours ago, and just told him, it's absolutely impressive what he comes up with. Yeah, power of Unreal Engine 4. It's really something. And that, you know what? I think I'll have to. Oh, Joe Bolsky. I think maybe I have to. Yeah, thanks a lot. Thank you very much. I'm almost a bit sad that the music is soon coming to an end, because I've progressed. Just excuse me for 1 second. I just have to post the new link to this live stream so people can still find it. Oh man, that's a shame. Those are the things. I mean, I seem quite composed right now, but this is really the things that drive me absolutely insane because I hate this sort of thing. When you prepare everything, when you share the links so everybody can find you, and then it's not working, and I hate this so much. You can't believe. I think if the camera wouldn't be running right now, this would be the moment where I would throw stuff around because I get so worked up with this. Okay, let me just see. Now I have to fetch the link. Okay, just quickly going to repost that. Okay, let's just quickly post that. Of course, we're going to extend the time a bit. Well, Sport. New link for this. Okay. Yeah, me too. It's 3 years is such a long time to wait for GoldenEye 25. It's really, I don't know how I should do it. Sometimes I get a demo version. At least that's something. But I can't wait to play with all the AI and everything. Alles Gute und Geburtstag, Polski, gell? Prost. Okay. But of course, we have a little bit of a program today. There's some things I'd like to address. The first thing is, let me get this like this. This is a new score by Eric Serra, the Grandmaster. And I instantly bought this because I just had to get it because the settings sounded so promising. All the things, is playing in Russia. It's about an agent and everything. And I was sort of hoping we get a little throwback to GoldenEye, or maybe even something that sounds a little bit similar, like what he's done in the '90s. And I've listened to the CD a couple of times this week, and first of all, one of the things I have to say, it's really, if you compare, I mean, I still listen to the GoldenEye, to the movie soundtrack quite a lot because I love it so much. And hello, Benjamin from the Bomb Bulletin. And we're just discussing the new score by Eric Serra, for those of you who have just joined. And I've listened to the soundtrack quite a few times as well. And if you compare it to the GoldenEye soundtrack, or in general what Eric Serra has done back in the '90s, what you can clearly tell is that he's stepped up the game, in terms of the technical aspects, so mixing and mastering, because the whole soundtrack is quite like he usually does. It has a lot of deep and bassy instruments. There's a lot going on in the bass frequency, like in many of his soundtracks. But he's really, the sound he's got on this score, on the new score, on the Honor score, is absolutely amazing. I mean, it's really everything that's in the bass section. There's a lot of that in the Eric Serra material. It's really broad and really deep and rich. So technically, it's really, and especially if you compare it to what he's done in the '90s, it's really an amazing step up. And what I found a pleasant surprise, and something that I was hoping for, is that yeah, Martin, I fixed it now. Fortunately, it's working. As I said, I was just talking about the new Honor score by Eric Serra, and some things that I really loved about that is that there's quite a lot of sound design going on. So the things that the ones who love his score, that he's done in the '90s, with all the experimental sounds and the sounds that are very very much distorted and processed sounds. There's a lot of that stuff on this soundtrack, and that is really fantastic. So you really get sort of the throwbacks to The Fifth Element, to GoldenEye, but everything just a step high, in terms of technical specs. Like I said, with the mix and mastering, is really pristine and absolutely fabulous. So this is a really, really good soundtrack. In all fairness, I have to say I've not seen the movie, so it is hard to completely judge it because it is a score, and the most important thing a score needs to do is to score the movie, to underline what's going on in the movie. And so I can't really fully rate this score, but then again, I love the score from the movie Nikita that Eric Serra has scored as well, and I haven't seen the movie up until now, so that still works for me. So this is a really cool score, but then and there's a lot of things that you love about his music. All the rhythmic driven stuff that he often uses, and just a lot of beat and great things. Now it tends to get a little too extreme at one or two parts where there's a lot of action going on. It's a little bit like there's the screaming instruments, and there's a little bit over the top for my taste. But then again, I'm very much biased to his sound from the '90s, and of course he's moved on, like we've all moved on. But I think it's a very nice blend. I highly suggest you give this a listen. Having said all these nice things, I have to say Eric Serra is a very versatile composer. So he's not only done this experimental, computer-generated, computer-made music. He's also done other things like Bandidas or Joanna Arc, where he addresses other instruments, like when he does a complete orchestral score, or Bandidas was a very sort of Hispanic score, and he can do all these things, and many of them were quite memorable. Of course, we don't have to talk about the stuff in the '90s. Like I said, The Fifth Element, GoldenEye, that stuff was super, super memorable. This one, as much as I've enjoyed listening through it, I have to say it's nothing that I had to put on my MP3 player or my smartphone to listen to when I'm at work or when I'm somewhere out and about. It is a very good score, and I'm sure it does very well in the movie, and it works very well with the movie. But how can I say, it lacks a little bit the memorable parts and some of the stuff that I go like, oh yeah, now we're going. There are some parts that are quite cool, But again, it doesn't strike me as much as the other ones did in the 90s. So, but maybe that's just me being, old fashioned or whatever. But anyway, it is worth buying. It is worth supporting the artist, of course, as always. And yeah, it's definitely a lot of fun listening through it. Okay, that's that. That's the Honor soundtrack. And the next thing, hello everybody. Hello everybody. Great to see you all here. Osmond and Martin and everybody who's here. The next thing I would like to talk about is a little bit about GoldenEye 25. Hopefully you've seen the newest picture posted by Ben today from the train level, which looks absolutely stunning. I was absolutely blown away. I'm sure you were too. I just wrote a message to Ben a few hours ago, and I just told him, everything, the shutters on the right, the floor, the carpet that has is slightly imperfections, has those slight imperfections, and then the lamps, the ceiling, the woodwork, the textures of the wood. And then if you zoom in very closely on the picture, you can see, for example, there's a door, and on the door hinge, there's a little bit of dirt, there's a little bit of rust, and all these little things. It feels like you could really jump in there right away. And it really feels very much like you could just go in there and be there. And also the ZMG, the gun, and yeah, it's just I was completely overwhelmed with that, and I can't wait to play it. Unfortunately, still 3 years to wait. And of course, like always the same thing. I wonder why people bring the hand up all the time. It's always the same. When you look the first videos that we've posted, and also now the pictures, people always bring up the hands, which I don't get. You sort of don't know what to write anymore, because there's not more you can say than, we're still 3 years away from the release date, and of course these things will change. So I really don't get that conversation. Yeah, Brosnan's hands are a touchy thing. They sure they sure are. People are very adamant about the hands. Nice shirt. Thank you very much. Tony het de kleine. So that's a little insider joke with Sultans of Swing. Hello, Nicolas. Nice for you to join. James didn't have hands in the N64 version. Yeah, that's why people are even more sensitive to them. Yeah, I agree, Yannick. 3 years to go, still can't figure it's a work in progress. Yeah, it's exactly that. I mean, it's great that people engage, and it's great they follow our process, but it's really that sort of thing. I mean, and also on YouTube, it's even worse. There are a lot of people who write, nasty, mean things like, the lightning is too dark, or this and that. And we just go, guys, come on. We're doing something for the community, because we ourselves, if we would be watching this being made, we would love to have that intel and behind the scenes knowledge and see what is going on behind the scenes, because we didn't have that back in 95 to 97, where they developed the real GoldenEye. And so now we have that, where we can give you that. But it's really off-putting if people then just comment, pardon my language, the bullshit about, oh, this doesn't look good, this is not good enough, and this is not good. Of course, we know, we have eyes ourselves, we can see these things. But well, nevertheless, we'll keep at it. Having said that, I think we're going to tone down the social media postings a little bit, because first of all, now we've posted many things, also from my side with the development of music and sound effects. But we don't want to just make videos for the video's sake. So just post things for just so we have something to post. We want to deliver something that you can see, and that you can well, that's something special. And Ben has told me that he's working on different levels right now simultaneously, and they're always making slight progress. But there's not always something you can show. We really have to wait until things are done and ready to show and interesting enough to show. to share them with you. So maybe we will do it a little less frequently, but nevertheless, we'll keep up, and we're always working on it. So if you see a slight decrease in postings, not for you to worry that we're leaving it be, or we're just we're getting slack. It's just because we deliberately tone it down a bit. I want OHMSS game. Yeah, well then go do one. On Her Majesty's Secret Service. I don't know. Okay, man. I'm just waiting to hear the sound of the RCP-90. Bzzz. Yeah, I can. That was something I wanted to get into. This GoldenEye 25 sound design. A little bit of intel for you. I can show you the sound of the RCP-90. This is the burst sound. There you go. You like that, Minzy? Is that the sort of thing you were looking for? Cool. That's great. It looks like he's coming to a working thing at a time. I mean, a few adjustments and it would look like the game is ready to get released. Yes, absolutely. I mean, like I said, the train level already looks like, this could be out. And honestly, I told him there were a few AAA games that I've seen in the last couple of years that look worse than what he produces, which is really outstanding. It's thanks to the Unreal Engine 4 and thanks to his skills, of course. If Rare knew that Unreal would come, yes. But still, regarding the technology they had back then, they did a fantastic job. I can't stress that enough. He's doing a great job, in my opinion. Yes, I agree. I'm looking forward to GoldenEye 25. I am too. KF7 Soviet. Could show you that sound too. Actually, I've featured that one in a video. I love that sound. It's from the movie. Yeah, On Her Majesty's Secret Service, best Bond film ever. Of course. Cheers for that. You're welcome. Oh yes, a digital Lazenby with his voice and likeness. Oh yeah, that would be so amazing. I would absolutely lose my shit because I would be so excited for that. It's a communism joke. Yeah. Good evening, Mr. Tennyson. Hi, Tyler. Les would love to do an OH MSS game, not for free, naturally. Yeah, of course, of course. If the money's there, we would do, I guess, everything. Hello, Mr. Yannick. Nice sound on the KF7. Thank you. You just don't like On Her Majesty's Secret Service because George is a douche. Yes, I have to admit that. Well, the whole movie is sort of, like I said once, yeah, only for money. Exactly. Yeah, that's his favorite quote. On Her Majesty's Secret Service, and I'm only going to talk about this one more time. On Her Majesty's Secret Service, the whole pacing for me is a little too slow. That movie is a little bit too old-fashioned for my taste. But I quite enjoyed it before I met George Lazenby. I enjoyed it because of the locations in Switzerland, which are nearby. I enjoyed it because of the soundtrack, which John Barry did a great job with. I've enjoyed it because of Telly Savalas, which I think was amazing, and also the other smaller roles. And but once I met George Lazenby, I couldn't watch it anymore. Really, it is something, many people have no problem. They say like, well, that's his private persona, and when he plays in the movie, that's a whole different thing. Yes, if you can say that to yourself, that's great. More power to you. But I can't. If I hate someone in real life, I'm not going to watch a movie with him. So that film for me, well, let's just say I have the big James Bond box, and that CD or that DVD from On Her Majesty's Secret Service is going to rot in there, along with the Craig movies. But enough of that. Remember my question on that, Yannick Fossen? No, refresh my memory, please. Question: will there be a cutscene in GoldenEye 25, like Bond jumping off cliff, etc.? They're not going to be major cutscenes, and surely not within the gameplay, because our goal is to make sure that you're always in character. There's also why there's not going to be a third-person perspective. Also, when you're driving the tank or anything else, will always be in first person because we want the experience to be immersive, and so it's all first person, and so there's not going to be many cutscenes. Maybe the ones that you know from the game, like jumping off the dam, but those are the things that we have not ultimately decided on. So we're going to see, but it's not going to be like, like Call of Duty sort of thing where the cutscenes or scenes where you're being guided through and stuff like that. It should really be immersive. On Her Majesty's Secret Service just feels like it has a lot of kind of boring filler, but the action does deliver at times. Or On Her Majesty's Secret Service is great in terms of quality and action, but for today's standards is slow. Yes, exactly. And if we want it or not, if we like it or not, we're just victims of the times. It's the same like GoldenEye 64, for example. If I still have the Nintendo 64, and if I think it was last year, I took it out one time and I played a little bit of GoldenEye 25. And oh, sorry. Ben just wrote me a message. Oh, wow. Ben just wrote me a message that Ken Lobb noticed us, GoldenEye 25. Woo! So that's Dr. Doak, Grant Kirkhope, and Ken Lobb. Wow. Live, as we're just live, I'm just gonna write back Ben. Ben, join us in the live stream. Just broke it to the community. Okay. Oh, hold on a second. Just trying to keep up now. Like I said, I was saying, I took out the Nintendo 64 and I played a little bit of GoldenEye. And of course, it wasn't a fantastic game, and it still is. But, when sort of the flash of nostalgia sort of, decays, you're just left with an old, slow-paced game. Of course, because we're all accustomed to different things these days. And that's why I think GoldenEye 25 is a very good thing. Okay. Wow, what a closing statement that was. I'm so proud of myself. Tyler writes, all movies in the 60s and 70s started slow for an hour, then got fast the last hour. That could very well be. Yes, yes, that's right. It's also with On Her Majesty's, it ramps up at the end. Yes, that's true. I provided Ben some info about Arecibo Observatory for the cradle level. Hope that was useful. Always, Osmond. Every help is useful. We appreciate every help. The Bomb Bulletin, like Thunderball, the third act is way too long. If you had to choose one film by each actor that you don't like, hate. Oh, that you don't like, hate. Well, I think hate a Bond movie is a little bit much to say, because they're all good films. Some I like more, and some I like a little less. One film for each actor. Connery, I think Thunderball, or maybe, well, Dr. No is really slow paced and the music is not quite there. With Roger Moore, it would be least favorite with Roger Moore. Octopussy, probably. Pierce Brosnan, the one I like the least is Die Another Day. Just still think it's a great movie, but if you say like the least. And Craig, not going to go with there today. Okay, exactly. For people who grew up with GoldenEye and Tomorrow Never Dies, these films feel slow. Exactly. I love the 60s Bond, but I admit I don't tend to rewatch them as much as Moore or the Brosnan ones. Yes, exactly. That's the thing. I rate my preference in a Bond movie by how many times I rewatch it. The Moore ones I rewatch quite often. Dalton ones also, because I love them. Pierce Brosnan are the most, and Connery, well, except Goldfinger maybe. They all are a little slow for me. Goldfinger just has that magic formula completely figured out, I think. It also has its sequences where it drags on, but it's also still in the Brosnan movies. Oh my God, yes. Woohoo. Breaking the Ken Lobb thing, yes. Wow, Ken Lobb. Shame such a bad weapon was named after such a great weapon. Yeah. Have you heard that story that Dr. Doak told in a video interview? Why they named it like that? Where he said, "Wow, you named a gun after me," and the Dr. Doak said, "Yes, because something it's noisy and it's not really useful, so it's like you." Something like that. Oh, British humor. Congratulations for your award, Yanni. This man is a great rock and roll pianist. Thank you very much. You're a great guitar player. Hey guys, how are you all? Hi Ben, thank you for joining. Great to have you here. Hi Ben. Here we go again. I'm playing Final Fantasy VII on PS1 for the first time. It's better than any new game. I'm sure GoldenEye is fine now. Yes. Yeah, well, they're still, and I mean, GoldenEye still can entertain you for longer than some of the modern games, as well as take any Mario game or something for Nintendo 64. So they definitely had more value for the money. Lazenby noises. Hey Ben, great work. You're doing the train picture knocked me off my chair today. Love the progress. Could you please set up a camera the next time when you're being knocked off your chair? I would love to see that. Octopussy is the second best action movie ever made. Okay. Hey, Mr. Ben, I am invincible. I could rewatch GoldenEye and never get tired. No, that's true. That's true. I think I watched that ever since I first watched it, at least 5, 6, 7, if not more times a year. So no, as well as Tomorrow Never Dies, Die Another Day. I watched. Oh, sorry. Oh my God, I clicked on. Okay, I watched Diamond, A View to Kill, From Russia with Love, and License to Kill the most lately. Okay. I sometimes have a feeling like some Bond movies get better every time I rewatch them. Yes, I have that with License to Kill. License to Kill. I always liked that movie, but it grows and grows and grows and grows on me. It's really now the score, Robert Davi, Dalton. Um, oh God, here we go with the names again. It's always the same thing with the names. The lady who plays Pam Bouvier. Oh my goodness, please help me out. For example, Man with the Golden Gun gets better each time. Carrie Lowell, genau, exactly, yes, genau. The Man with the Golden Gun gets better each time I rewatch it. So many details, and I always find new ones. Yeah, this is something I said the last time. I don't get the hate that Man with the Golden Gun gets because I think it's a great movie. I love it. Golden Gun itself, Christopher Lee, Roger Moore doing a great bit. By mid 1998, I have watched GoldenEye like 41 times, according to a note in my notebook. Good way to go. If I put up a camera here, you'll die laughing. I mean, literally, you would not survive this. You know what? That's a cause. That's a cause worth dying for. Carrie Lowell, exactly. That's Pam Bouvier. If you ever have a chance to watch an older Bond in the theaters, it gets even better. Yes, I would love to do that as well. I would absolutely love to see GoldenEye on the big screen, or License to Kill, or something like that on the really big screen. Um, Richard Gere's wife, I think. Yes, but are they still together? I think they got divorced, didn't they? Genau. Very genau. That's a bit of German slipped in there. Man with the Golden Gun is a good movie, in my opinion. I feel sorry for John Barry. Why do you feel sorry? He had to live for the rest of his life with regret. Because of the slide. Yeah, of the slide whistle. Yeah, that one. But then again, it's also the same thing like with that scene in Die Another Day where he parachutes or paraglides or whatever you call that. That's just it's a scene. You can get over that. Had the same conversation last night, by the way, with Sultans of Swing. I can't imagine how one scene can ruin a whole movie for you. Yeah, but then they come, yeah, it's the whole movie's like that. Yeah, come on. GoldenEye 007, best movie ever. The music is awesome too. Agreed. You should come to Frankfurt then in November. Our friend John Glenn asked for you. Okay. Well, gonna give that a, yeah, well, I think I'm gonna, there's also something we're going to reveal at a time, but nothing now. Never dislike the slight whistle. It goes with the humoristic tone of the film. Yeah, like I said, yeah, I think it's just an amazing stunt, and the slide whistle just sort of, degrades that, but I can look over it. Wait, what? John Glenn? Wow. Yeah, we had a great time with him last year when he got the Bond Award and his Lifetime Achievement Award. We had a great time. He's a really fantastic guy. That's really one great guy to meet. I don't mind the parachute thing in Die Another Day. All the slow motion stuff is what I don't like. Oh, I get it. Yeah, with the cars. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. The slide whistle is not bad, but I just gotta feel empathetic for Barry. Yeah, that's how that business works. When you get overruled by the producers or the director, that's their call. John Glenn is my favorite. Yeah, fantastic guy. Absolutely. Come on, the stun on the man with the golden gun is a masterpiece. You cannot compare the one with this crappy CGI parachute scene. Yeah, I wouldn't say anything. No, absolutely. But Die Another Day still had a lot of practical stunt work as well. The whole car sliding scenes and everything. What do you think about the new 007 agent, Lashana Lynch? Oh God. And GoldenEye on the Nintendo. I think it was on the Wii with Daniel Craig jump from the dam. Oh my God. Yeah. Well, you've answered yourself. So first and foremost, I don't care anything about the new Bond movie, Bond 25. It doesn't interest me. And a GoldenEye game with Daniel Craig in it. I mean, come on, really. There's not even something I need to say about that. It's not only, if it only would have been Craig in there, you maybe could deal with it. But they've replaced all the characters with these generic cliche characters. Nothing looks like the movie. Nothing feels like the movie. It's just completely off. Sorry, it was really, like I said once before. I don't like to slam other people's work who have been, who have done the best and who have done a lot of work and put in a lot of blood, sweat, and tears to get it done. But that game was just a bad joke. I'm sorry, really. Every film is a product of its time. Thunderball, very 60s. The Man with the Golden Gun, very 70s. The Living Daylights, very 80s. Tomorrow Never Dies, very 90s. And The Quantum of Solace, very 2000s. Yes. The Living Daylights feels a little like a combination of Roger Moore's Bond movies, Rambo, and Dalton. It is glorious 80s throwback and simply love 80s movies. Me too. What if a slide whistle was on Kananga stunt over the alligator? Yeah. Exactly, Nicolas. The Bint films are not only entertaining masterpieces but also historic mirror images of the particular time. Exactly. And the Craig movies tell a lot about our times. Jim Bint. Agreed. You can see that in the costumes, the soundtrack, the setting. Bond films are contemporary, almost a testimony of times. Exactly. Yes. The Alec Trevelyan is terrible in Reloaded. Yeah. Well, like I said, it's just a bad joke of a game. Jim Bint, Women with the Silver. Mm. Okay, but didn't like any of the GoldenEye Wii actors, maybe except Natalia. Nah. Even she couldn't save it. Okay, now let me quickly get back to GoldenEye 25 sound design because that's something I've announced I wanted to talk about. And there's one thing, I've posted once that I'm looking for a lot of sounds. No, I was looking for a lot of sounds. And recently, I found a few new ones, a few new old ones, if you will. Very exciting ones, which I'd like to present to you. Now, one I was always disappointed with that I came up with was the Walter PBK sound for the game. And that's a difficult call because the game gun sounds a lot different than it does in the movie. And I've managed to find a gun sound that was used in the older Bond movies, the older Walther, like the Dalton and Timothy Dalton and Roger Moore Bond movies. Like I said again, it's days and days you spend looking for the sounds. You're going through myriads of libraries with gun sounds, and usually you can't even look for the gun sounds. You enter pistol, you get like 5,000 results. You browse through them, you still haven't found the right thing, only to find out later that the sound that was used as a pistol sound in the movie really is a shotgun sound, for instance. That was the case with the Walther. Now let me show you what that sounded like. That was this one here. No, that's not that. That was this one here. You'll recognize the sound from the old Bond movies. Oh, that's a little. You hear that one? And I got the copy of that, a licensed copy of that, so I can use it in the game. But then again, these old sounds, many times you can't even use them. That one I had to mix together with other sounds that I had because it sounded too old-fashioned. And of course, our game looks rugged and faded and resembles that Soviet setting and that 90s setting, but still looks very pristine. And so you can't pull off an old-sounding vintage recording of a pistol and then use that in a game. That's something we've noticed. Also with this explosion, it was the same thing. It's one of the explosion sounds that you hear in GoldenEye in the movie, where actually the control room in Arecibo blows up. You will recognize this sound if you've listened to it closely. Again, that was a thing. It sounded great, but it's a vintage recording. You can't really use that unless you mix it with other sounds, and so that's the little tricks we have to go to. Ricochets, the same thing with those. Great sounds, but they sound too old-fashioned because they're really old recordings. And of course, up until GoldenEye, they could use these sounds because the films looked they had the old film look. That was just due to technology, but you can't pull that off in a modern game. So we have to make compromises there a little bit. Okay, I'm just going to come on, guys. One typing error and one is cut into pieces. Yeah, one typo is one too much. I like the infiltration scene on that MI6 ranch in The Living Daylights, Green Fort to base. What is life without humor? A Daniel Craig movie. James Bint and the Man with the Golden Gin. Great scene on the few fight scenes where Bond is not involved. Paul Weston, stuntman versus Andreas Wisniewski. What temperature do you have in Germany? Well, I'm Switzerland, but it's the same. We had 28 degrees today on the hottest. Today was quite a cold day. Today was only 22. So it was very, very pleasant for a change, as opposed to last week where we sometimes had up to 37 degrees, which is just... Those milk bombs were a clever idea, yeah. We're still on 26 at the moment, had 31 earlier. Horrible weather, sweating like Blofeld's cat. 14 degrees in Argentina, what? Only 14. I figured Argentina would be much hotter now. Well, in my opinion, everything that is above 25 is just too much. That's just, that's holiday weather, but not for around here. It's a silly place here in Slovakia. Yesterday it was super rainy, storms and super bassy thunder. Bass. But today went up really hard, 37. Wow. Blofeld has a nice pussy. Oh, sorry. Blofeld has a nice pussy. Wait, is Klob named after Mr. Lob? Yes, it's the abbreviation. It's Ken Lob, abbreviated to Klob. That's named the gun after him. Puffy, pussy or puffy? My ideal temperature is between 15 and 20 degrees, not more, not less. Yeah, I can live with that. What's the most you get in Argentina, like in the summertime? Yes, the Connery accent makes every sentence sound funnier than it should. Yeah, it really does. My third wife. And lately, I've been practicing, but it's only for joke, nothing serious. I've been practicing my Pierce Brosnan impersonation a little bit, and this is really, really bad. Ciao, Didi, mach's gut, merci gern. The Pierce Brosnan impersonation, because there's hardly anyone, and I've certainly never heard a good impression of Pierce Brosnan, because it seems so hard. His voice is very distinct on one hand side, but it's a very sort of standard voice. The things I notice is that he always sounds a little bit like he's just been woken up. He always has a little bit like that, and I've been practicing only that one line where he goes like, the name's Bond. James Bond. Really bad. Okay, let's leave that. Let's go back to Sean Connery. Summers are quite hot. Winters can be tough, to be honest. Quite hot, but what does that mean? Like, what's the most? I mean, here in Europe or Switzerland, Germany, or thereabouts. But of course, most we get is about 38 to 40 at the most. But do you ever get over that? You coming from England or Schweiz? Schweiz, Switzerland. Switzerland would be nice for Sean Connery too. I drank a bottle of scotch in Switzerland. Now let's stop this. Okay, let's just see. Da-da-da. Where's my list? 35. Okay. Well, that's fair enough. Christopher Walken. Oh no, please don't start. Now we know how Yannick sounds drunk. Well, you never see that because the times where I drink, they're long gone. I had to stop like, what was it, 5 or 6 years ago? I had to stop drinking, and I've never had another drink ever since. I couldn't. I'm dying. Please call the ambulance. Pierce's voice, rewatching Nightfire, I feel uncomfortable with Pierce's look and the baritone voice of Maxwell Caulfield. Yeah, that didn't work. That was really, really awkward. If you get a known face from someone and then you superimpose another voice in that, it's just really weird. It's also it's similar thing where From Russia with Love, with the game, where they had an obviously very young Sean Connery, and it's great they could get him for the game to voice it. I mean, that alone is a miracle work. But it just sounded completely off because it was clearly like something mid-30s or something in the game, or even younger. But he sounded like 70, 80. And that always struck me as being very, very weird to see and hear. Nice. I don't drink at all. Yeah, it's good to get a bit of control. In the intro of GoldenEye toilet scene, I think he has a bit much British compared to the rest of the movie. Beg your pardon. Beg your pardon. Oh no. No, don't get me started on doing his voice. Beg your pardon. Forgot to knock. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly. What the fuck? Why the fuck was I was every time thinking you coming from England? No idea. Oh man, na dann kannst du ja mal ein wenig Deutsch. Ja, klar kann ich Deutsch reden, ist doch kein Problem, wa? Aber die meisten kommen aus dem Ausland, weißt du? Also im Ausland, ja, wir sind ja, aber die meisten hier sprechen Englisch, darum habe ich mich darauf beschränkt. Sorry, that was a bit of German. And just told that I decided to settle on English because most of you understand English and can talk English, and it's hard. You know, German. I think there's not many around who speak German, right? Exactly. A 33-year-old Sean Connery with the voice of a 75-year-old one. Hi, Chris, 89. It's funny because he talks to German friends in English. I was just, yeah, that's true. I was learning German for 4 years. Cool. Guten Tag. Hi, Tyler. And I barely can say even my name in German. Wouldn't your name in German be the same like in your native language? Just asking. Voice acting is hard as fuck. I know some voiceovers and they say that you have to have some very good references if you need to sound good. Yes. It's also the same like with every impression and impersonation. The one thing always the problem is that you tend to overdo it, which ruins the effect. It's just over the top. And you hear that often with impersonators where you think, oh, he's quite close, but not perfectly there. And you go back to the original actor or whatever artist he tries to impersonate, and you just notice that he's just completely over the top to sell the effect. But yeah, that's really hard, and you have to really, watch a lot of material and go by sentence by sentence and so on. That's my fault. I sometimes just speak English to him randomly. Yeah, well, we have to keep it up because otherwise you forget these things. I mean, I was fluent in French when I went to school because the school I went to was we call it bilingue, bilingual, so it was in French and German. But then we moved to German speaking part of Switzerland only, and I barely used French there, and I barely had to speak French at that time. And it didn't even take 2 or 3 years. Like almost completely forgot everything. Now I moved back here, and I frequently need to address my French, and so it comes back more easily. But still, the languages are forgotten so quickly. And even if I don't talk English in a week or something, or no, not a week, but 2 or 3 weeks, you notice how you start to lose words. You know, that's why we need to keep it up. I don't mind. I'm happy with Sean in the video game. Just a link timer. I'm still fluent in French, as you know. Yes, Benjamin, I know. Your French is great. Pardon my French. Um, I didn't have English class until fourth form of primary school, age 10, but thanks to the Bond movies, I quickly had to base it on language. Yes, that's also a point where a lot of people ask me, wow, where did you learn English so well? It's thanks to movies and television, really, because and then you start to watch with the you start out with the movies in English, but with in my case German subtitles. You work your way up, and then a lot of things and a lot of phrases and stuff I recall because of movie scenes and quotes and stuff like that. So that comes in really handy. What is the proper pronunciation of croissant? I heard many pronunciations, but not sure which is correct. Croissant is the correct pronunciation. Le croissant. So Swiss speak German. Um, yes, there's three languages in Switzerland, so it's really impressive. It's such a small country, but there are four official languages. It's German, Swiss German, French, Italian, and uh, what's that called in? I don't even know if there's an expression for that in English. Retromanisch. So it's like a mix between German and Italian. But funny enough, if you don't speak that specific language, neither the Italians nor the Germans understand you. So, but it's only a very small part of Switzerland where they speak that language. But I live just the part I live. It's the most southern part of Switzerland. It's just next to the French border and next to the Italian border. Had 10 marks with barely studying. Well, congratulations. Same. DVDs have helped a lot. Croissant. At least that's how I've learned it. Yes, that's right. Petition to rename the frigate to Baguette. Baguette Lafayette. Well, that's a novel idea. Baguette Lafayette, Monaco Harbor. What's your mother language? Like, what's the language your parents spoke when you were born? German, Swiss German. Baguette Lafayette, that is comedy gold. Yes. I'm not sure how it would be, yeah, I'm not sure, however, if it would be just as tasty as the baguette. Le croissant, a good question. Okay, now I'm just going to proceed with my list a bit. Yeah, so I hope some of you heard the Apollo 11 score that I've just released. Well, that was a fun project. It was done fairly quickly. I think over the course of 2 or 3 weeks. Was composed, mixed and mastered, did all that by myself, and then released. And the reception was quite well. Well, it's always the same thing, you know. I'm not complaining. Don't get me wrong, but it's everything that is non-Bond that I release really is not that well received by many people. There's the Bond videos or anything that is related to Bond instantly has like hundreds of clicks, and stuff that is non-Bond usually in the same time maybe has 10 or 20 clicks or something like that. But you know, I'm not complaining. I mean, it's I enjoy doing it, and some people I've heard enjoyed it. I've got some great feedbacks, and that's all that counts really. So if you haven't listened to it yet, then you can find the whole score here on YouTube, or you can buy it. You know, it's in different online stores. You can listen on Spotify and so on. I ate baguette with eggs a lot a while ago. The Apollo 11 score was amazing. It was heroic, had a very adventurous, groundbreaking motive. Thank you very much. Felt just right. That's great. Thank you. As a fan of Eric Serra, have you ever listened to his rock album RXRA, Eric Serra from 1998? Quite a good record. No, that one I have not checked out yet. Maybe I'll give it a try. Yes, I have. 1998. That sounds like a good year. But rock, I don't know. Well, I'll give it a try. I'll have a listen. Stanley Kubrick likes this. No fun aside. Was a great score. Thank you very much. Hello, Dalek Enclave. Welcome on board. So in case anyone has missed it or is just joining now, the GoldenEye 25, one of the GoldenEye 25 pictures on Twitter was noticed by Ken Lobb. Fantastic news. And it just happened when we were live here in the live chat, in the live stream. Amazing. Love these things. You know, it's so amazing when you get these people who were responsible for some of the greatest adventures of your childhood, and now you're doing your bit of that, and they react to that. It's just can't even express how amazing that feels. You have a nice accent, by the way. Easy to understand you. That's great. Glad to hear that. Thank you. I've had one guy pointed out to me last time on a video that he just wrote, when his accent can't decide whether to go British or American, and I just had to laugh because it's really true. I don't really know what to settle on, and so sometimes I go more into British and sometimes more into American. Because we were taught in school, we were taught the British English, and our teacher was adamant teaching us the British English because it's the only real English that is being spoken. But somehow the American sort of English feels more natural to me. It's easier to speak. In the British English, I have to think more, and so that's why I get these things mixed up a bit. But then again, you know, as long as you can understand me. So proud of you, Ben. Thank you, Nico. Thank you very much for all your support, your sharing, and all that you do for us. Flat Moon Theory when? Never. I tried to write my books and articles in British English, but I think an Americanism may have slipped in. Well, what happens, you know? I don't think it's that bad. Again, like I said, like as long as people can understand what you mean, you know. I have to pick up with all the GoldenEye 25 stuff again. It's been at least 3 months since I checked for news. Yes, please do. What time zone is it in Schweiz? It's 9 in Norway. 9:55. It's the same. We're in the same time zone. It's also 5 minutes to 10. I think you should have my copy of GoldenEye signed by one of the people behind the game someday. Well, I think you can do that. You can manage because I know from Dr. Doak that he's sort of gotten into this whole convention thing last year, this year as well. He's been on retro Spielmessen and on different things where he signs, and people often you can read many all over the place that he's a really nice guy, and also so he seems. So he takes pictures and signs. I think that shouldn't be a problem. Even in Brit movies, sometimes you hear gonna and wanna. Yeah, that was what our teacher always told us, that he wants us to speak the pristine and pure British English and not use these terms or these words, that swept over from America. Time to leave, Dr. Duck. It's time to leave, Dr. Duck. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, the Kennel Up thing was great news. That was really it's amazing, really cool. And that brings me to one of the other topics that I wanted to talk about, and that is, I only going to say this once. I'm very proud to have gotten a second film score award this year for the cinematic short film Overwatch Lion's Return, which was a short film done by uh, a friend, Thomas Bernecker from Think Big Studios. It was done last year, and he's it has been played at many conventions and cosplay events. He's submitted it to many film festivals and won a few awards, and two were especially or specifically for the music. And that was a great thing. And I got the question lately: what is so great about that? Not in a derogatory way, but just out of interest. And the great thing for me to get these awards is not that, oh great, it's not about that. It's not about a vanity. It's about, I've been messing around with this music thing ever since I was like 13, 14, 15. And, I've never properly learned what I do. I've taken some online courses now the last couple of years, with scoring and orchestral composition and stuff like that, but never had a proper education in this field. I don't believe you have to be good. That's two different things. But you're always sort of unsure and insecure. Is what you do good enough on an international scale? When you have a lot of competition going on. And the great thing about these awards for me is another thing I need to say before I say what I want to say is that to me it's not about experts or not experts. Everyone is an expert to me. Sometimes I ask friends, could you please listen to that and tell me what you think? And the first thing they say, I'm not a music expert. I say, you don't have to be. I don't make the music for music experts. I make it for everyone. And maybe an expert can tell you exactly what he doesn't like. He can really tell what it is technically. But what I found with friends and so on, they can tell you, well, I don't like that one, but I don't know why. And then you give it another few listens, and then you maybe figure it out. They cannot specifically tell you what they love or hate about it, but they can, and that's fair enough and good enough, because it's for everybody. It's for the consumer, right? So I'm not into these film music expert and music and film experts. I'm not about that. But it's great to hear from people that deal with movies and soundtracks all of the time, day in, day out. When they award you, you know that comes from people who have to do with these things on a daily basis. And they have seen and heard many things. And if they rate your stuff as being worthy of competition and that you can sort of prevail out there in the film scoring world, so to speak, that's a great compliment. That's what I love about it. And so, yeah, I was really chuffed and proud of that. I mean, I would never have thought that I would ever get an award for what I do, because like I said, to me, it's basically the same thing with every act and every musician. You're not a fan of your own work. I re-listen to my stuff because I want to learn things, and sometimes I can tell, that bit I love, that was quite cool, that was okay, that was not so good, I could have done that better, that I could, but it's not like I listen to my own stuff and go, wow, that was fantastic, And the things that I really love, and that's why I love to get musicians on board, is that I love their performance. I don't love the composition. So when I say, for example, that was a great track, I don't think it's a great track because I have done it, but because listen to that trombone solo, listen to that guitar solo. I love it because of what other people bring into it. And so it's really hard to tell if what you're doing is good enough. And so that's what I appreciate and take from these awards. Okay. My name means day in German. At least that what Google Translate says. Oh, okay. Last night we had a gig with our blues rock and roll band, and the woman who's in charge of the place we were comes from Iceland. And at the very end, she told me a very interesting story, is how the Icelandic names are put together, the surnames. It's derived from the name of the father, and then it's either when you're a boy, when you're male, it's son, and when you're female, I think it's dotter or dottir. So let's say your name is your father's name is Gunnar, and you're so you as his son would be called Gunnarsson, and if you would be his daughter, you would be called Gunnarsdottir. That was very interesting, that how the names are put together in Iceland. Speaking of talking in movies, why do you never say bye or goodbye when they hang up? Yes, I noticed that a few times too. Do that in real life, and you're marked as rude. Congratulations, thank you very much. Strange, thank you very much. Congrats, Yannick, thank you very much, guys. Thank you, really appreciate it. Great to see your work get some recognition. You really deserve it. Thank you very much. That's very kind of you to say. And like I said, I want to stress again, it's not that I mean, you guys really sometimes shower me with so many compliments and so on. It's not that I don't give a shit about that. It means very much to me, But an award is a different thing in the sense that it's objectively criticized, and people, it's criticized by people who, who have a huge selection, who could pick anyone, and to be picked by them, that's something special. But that does not mean that I do not love you for all the appreciation, all the love. That has to clearly be stated. Yes, that's the thing with my UGC license from Universal. They gave me a chance. Big for nobody like me. Oh yeah, there you go. Well, those are the things, that means something to us, exactly. Okay, now we've passed 1 hour, but I think I'm going to extend a little bit tonight, because I had to, mess around with I started later because I had to set up the microphone properly, so we're going to extend a little bit. The Icelandic naming system is interesting. The last name of Björk is Gudmundsdóttir. Oh, there you see. So you know what her father's name was. Well, never let that be known to social justice warriors that you're using the father's name, because all of a sudden they had to change the whole naming system of Iceland if we also had to include the mothers. Okay. Okay, Jansson. It's funny, I decided to use my Pro Toys FX on the second organ recording. I did have cheap funeral home sound I needed. I think that almost everyone that makes a rude comment, etc., is just jealous about others' amazing work. Yeah, and probably not right in the head because, there are things online that I don't like as well, but it would never occur to me to leave a dislike or even take the time to write something that I know will make this person feel bad. I mean, what's the point of that? Really don't get it at all. Yeah, that was great again. So, by the way, I've never probably announced this that these live stream I will do them once every month. That's what I decided to settle on, and usually, if I can, by the end of every month. So last Sunday of every month, so to speak. I hope I'll be able to make it every time, but if they'll be, if it'll be postponed or if I make them earlier, I'll let you know in time. Camel? No, it's Marlboro. I avoid touching stuff like politics and etc., but I agree with your point there. Well, I don't. Neither do I. I don't post political stuff. I don't comment on political stuff. That's something I don't even feel like talking with people about it in real person, very much. But I'm certainly not going to go into that online because that's going to end in one crazy load of you know what. All the complaints about 125 are completely reasonable. Well, that's something I can't really touch on because, like I said, I'm not interested, really not interested in 125. Someone's posted a pic of my book saying it was very bad. Yeah, I saw that, Nico. It was very bad. I asked why, expecting constructive criticism that I could fix the next one. He didn't reply. Yes, exactly. I saw that one too, and I just thought, well, you know, he could think it's a bad book, but then you don't have to write it like that. And if you write it like that, go and explain why you think that is. At least have that decency. I agree with that. And another case with Benjamin from the Bumboldt. I'm not going to go into details, but there as well, just some random guy who complained about some bullshit that was completely subjective, and then Benjamin offered to him, said, you know what, next video I'm going to have you in board and you do the voiceover. It was about the voiceover. I think still as of today, can you elaborate? No answer. Is that right? I saw that too. What a plonker. Yeah. Or a pillock. Yeah. No answer until today. That's the interesting thing. If people just write nonsense like that and you put them to the test and say, okay, do it better or tell me what exactly you want to be done better. There's two ways they're going to go. They're going to go with even more bullshit that they can explain, or you will never hear from them again. Exactly. If I don't like a film, I say why I don't like it instead of going around saying it's bad. Yeah. A crazy brawl when there's something about politics online. I'm doing the face app video with my bond after you stream with my lovely annoying voiceover. Yeah. That's really when you can tell that people are just looking for reasons to make you feel bad. When a perfectly done video, with music and quickly delivered after the news broke, and then you're just going to complain something like like a voiceover, which has been perfectly done. It's just sad, really. It's really sad. And again, constructive criticism. Of course, we had that discussion before as well. And talking about or criticizing the hand in GoldenEye 25 at this point is not constructive criticism to me. It's just unnecessary. Of course, things will be changed around, right? All right, we got Yannick mad. No, don't worry. No, I'm all good. I was mad at the beginning when I set up the whole live stream and shared links for the last weeks, and then it didn't work. That got me mad, but I could sort of suppress it in front of the camera. He was Italian, so I guess maybe he didn't understand English anyway. I couldn't care less at this point. consume anything. Well, he didn't understand English. You know what? If he could write that it was bad, then he could also write why he thought it was bad. And I mean, if everything else fails, there's still Google Translate. So that's not really an argument in my opinion. Yeah, so we're slowly coming to an end. But like I said, since I started late today, I'm going to give it some couple of extra minutes. So if you want to chime in with something or have more questions, just feel free and post them. You should hear Yannick rant on WhatsApp. One day I'll release this as a 300 CD set. I would buy that. Well, there's a lot of. I think if that were ever to hit the public, that would. I think that would attract quite a few lawyers, a few lawsuits. NASA would buy that, and the FBI probably. Yeah, and a few lawyers to get some evidence on the hands. Oh, the NSA, sorry. Sell out 100% day one. George Lazenby. Oh yeah, of course, absolutely. Along with some other names that I'm never going to disclose. Yeah, so another thing I wanted to tell you is that I'm going to Braunschweig next week. So this week I'm still working. Next week I'm going to visit my great dear friend Benjamin, who's also here tonight. Is the editor of the Bond Bulletin. We're going to spend a couple of days together, and we're also going to record an episode of the Swiss Connection, and a new episode that is going to be released on his YouTube channel. And yeah, we're going to have a great time, discuss a few things, also talk a lot about Bond, use a lot of Bond references, throw around quotes, and have a jolly good old time, and I'll probably be posting some pictures. And yeah, I'm really much looking forward to that. So those are my holiday plans. That's going to be from Monday to Thursday. Once I'm back, I got 3 days left, and then I plan on finishing the Aztec music for GoldenEye 25. And yeah, then there's only Control left, but I got that in my mind already. How that's going to sound? So Control, Streets, and Cradle. Those are the last 3 levels. I need to do GoldenEye 25. And then there's a lot of things still to be released and planned together with Benjamin from the Bond Bulletin. Things that we are working on. We're constantly working on something. So there's still a lot to come this year. A lot of pictures and videos and music as well. Nobody expects Spanish Inquisition. Really? Bollocks, need to clean the place. Yeah, you better do that. Oh, I was just about to say how we call your place. I'm not going to do that publicly. I think that's better. Braunschweig. I've never been there, even though it's not too far away from Hamburg. Yeah, Hamburg. I never visited Hamburg. I've never visited that city, but I absolutely want to. I'd love to go with Benjamin there, because there are a lot of locations from Tomorrow Never Dies, and it's a very interesting city, with also with the Landungsbrücken, like I said, the scenes from Tomorrow Never Dies and stuff like that. And I think it's quite an interesting city to visit once. Yeah, Benjamin, we've got a few plans lined up. Hamburg is still on the radar. London as well. We need to go there. Cradle is better gonna sound climatic enough, or else nothing. What could you do? Yeah, Cradle is a little bit of my last worries I have, because yeah, I there's so many things, so many boxes I need to tick. I want it to sound climatic. I want it to sound a little bit like the movie, but also a little bit like the game, and I still want to put my own twist on it. So that's going to be quite a challenge. I think I'm going to save that for the last. But like I said, control is quite. I got that quite figured out in my head, and streets as well. There's going to be a lot of that John Oldman action. Just of course adapted to the game music engine, so it's it loops and does the transitions nicely, stuff like that. Hamburg is fantastic, great access to fish. Well, all we need is a fishing boat. Remember that time when the British agent in Hamburg beat up a bunch of guys in printing building and rammed an RC car into building? Good old 1997. Yeah. Time to leave. Nice to have joined you. Yeah, thank you very much, Nico, for joining. Yeah, and I think now I'd like to go to Miniature Wonderland in Hamburg. Yeah, that one. I forgot that one. Exactly. That seems quite promising too. Yes. Well, there's still a lot to discover, but we fortunately still got a lot of time. Uh, Unlike this live stream, because we're now coming to an end. Like always, I'd like to thank you very much for joining. Oh, wow. Just one last comment. I've planned on taking pictures of Tomorrow Never Dies locations in Hamburg for the 20th anniversary. Well, I never did. Next to the dungeon where they offered Yannick a job and he declined. It would be awesome if split screen could be added in GoldenEye 25. No, won't happen because GoldenEye 25 is going to be single player only. Okay, so mods. Thanks for an amazing live session. Well, hope you found it entertaining. Thank you very much. Amen. Amen to you too. And yeah, we'll see us next month. We're going to wrap this up now. Like always, thank you very much for watching. Take care. Be good. See you all soon in the next video or the next live stream. Good night. Viel Spaß im Urlaub, Yannick. Good Nacht. Genau. Yes, I meant a single player part. No split screen on the single player part. Shia. Be aware of Baguette Lafayette is coming. Bye bye. Bye Ben. Bye everybody. Have a good time. Bye bye.